I'm close to President Hinckley's parents right there. I have searched most of this area, and there's all kinds of signs over there that I have recorded. So this is the only reason I'm recording this is this little area under these trees. It's very unique. I hadn't searched it yet because I had searched way on the other side of Hinckley's, all around it, almost to here. So I've searched almost to this spot, but a lot of my attention was drawn elsewhere. And then towards Marion G. Romney's, which is in the same plot, somewhere over there. So I hadn't got to this plot until today, and look at what I found. I found a stone which has 3 days from Benson's birth. 3 days. The other one has 4 days from Harold B. Lee's birth. Also has my grandma's name, Dorothy. And a March 7th, 1980. That is literally my birth symbols except the month. So the only thing that is wrong here is the month for me. For my birth, for my very birth. That 7/1980, it's harder to get than a November 7th. It's harder to get than a November 7th. So only my month is wrong. And each of the two prophets, which is closer to their birth, so it's stronger in that sense, they also have something wrong. That's not the day Benson was born. He was born on the 4th. And Lee was born on the 28th. This is I have only found one stone. Actually, this one is stronger. That is close to this, where the husband and the wife were born this close to prophets. This close. And I've searched thousands of hours, many cemeteries. Why is this right next to President Hinckley's parents? And I just found another one. And in the fact, by the way, it's surrounded by May 15th, the priesthood of Aaron right there, and then an ordination date almost. See, May 15th. And then the next one has a May 1st, 1945. That's an ordination day and month. Also has an ordination May 23rd. And I need to look, well, I'll just go ahead and do this right now. So it has 7 days from my dad's birth, with a May 15th right there, Aaron, on my grandfather, my dad's father's year, 1914. So I need to look up that. Oh no, not that. I need to look up this one and all these, but especially this one, because it would form a line into this, and then it would hit the other May 15th, which denotes the name Aaron. But regardless, there's no way that's coincidence. There's no way. And then I found that there actually is a July 2004. Look at this. The month and year I got my patriarchal blessing, with a May 15th. And this is in the same row as the other May 15th next to the May 1945. I'm not going to go over everything. And look, 2 down from that, you have my mom's birthday. And then look, you have a July 2nd, 2004 derivative. Switch the 2 and the 7. There's February is also a 2. And then that is when President Nelson was in the belly. So I think that strengthens it a little. And a few down is my dad's birthday on that red one. But I haven't studied over here a lot. So, and I wasn't ready for this one. I wasn't ready for this. Look, November 1st with my birth year digits. Switch the 8 and the 0. I don't think that's coincidence, actually. I think when I first searched this, I was not ready to see this one. I was not ready to see it. And here's why it's not coincidence. Oh, 1, 2, 3 down from it is the November 7th. Right there. And then, and I wasn't going to show all this because I have it on other videos. It's in the same row as Hinckley's father right there with a bunch of empty spots. Here is President Hinckley's father. His mom, which has the 1880. Kitty corner, 2 prophets. Birthdays, look, an Armin, an Aaron pattern with the M initial. And I wasn't going to show all this. I wasn't even going to show this. But I'll just go ahead and show it anyways. So, look at this. Let's see here. You have a November 7th on my grandma's year. I won't count that unless there was something denoting that part wasn't a coincidence. But here, this is not. The second November 7th, and watch. Look at that. Perfect line into the prophet's father. The 2 November 7th. Like literally perfect. Right into President Hinckley's father. Now, because this video's too long and I gotta go get my dad. His car is still stuck under the carport. I gotta make this video shorter. I know some of these are confusing because in part they're new to me. This area is new. I've searched way over there, and I hadn't made it here yet. This is not coincidence. Statistically, no way, especially when you consider how much this happens. Watch what happens when I go over there across the street. Look at this. Look, a November 1908. I'm going to prove why I don't think that's coincidence. Switch the 8 and the 0. You have 5 days from my birth. 5 days. You have literally 5 days from my birth. Look at the next one. A prophet's birthday, Heber J. Grant. 5 days from my parents' sealing in the Los Angeles temple. 5 days from my parents' sealing. That's a prophet's birth. This was planned by the Lord. My parents' sealing was planned by the Lord. It was arranged. I was born through that covenant and that divine blessing. And then I got to look up that. And then look, 2 down. Look, it just happens to have a November 8th with a November 6th. That's as strong as it gets for November 7th. Look, with an Aaron. And then I found this interesting over here. I'm actually skipping a bunch of things that I don't think are coincidence, including behind what I just showed. Because I think this is a little more simple. Oh my goodness, you gotta be kidding me. Wow. Whoa. Another 780. I've never seen that in short of a distance. And look, President Hunter's birth pattern, 14/19/07. Holy cow. And April 7th is an ordination symbol of Woodruff, ordained president of the church on April 7th. Look at this. If that is not good enough, look at this. 4 days from Hunter's very birth. Wow. So now I don't know where the one I was looking for was. Oh, here it is. Wow. Okay, I got to study this area. So look, Los Angeles temple with my father's birthday. He was born in Los Angeles. Coincidence? And in an area this old, Los Angeles temples are especially not normal, but even in most areas it's not super common. Some families have more of them than others. Next to it, you have my brother's birthday, who was also born in Los Angeles. And then you have my wife's name, Elizabeth, her middle name, Elizabeth, which is very common. I'm not stupid, but look. You have her same pattern, Claude, the same name. And look, her birthday, April 4th. with my first wife's birthday, September 19th. And then a November prophet right next to that. I got to go back to this because I'm literally speechless about this. Holy cow. Now it makes me want to look. There it is right there. Huh. Makes me want to look at the surrounding. So what's in this row? Nothing. Taylor. Could be related to John Taylor. And then these don't have dates. But look at this. There's no way. You have to be a fool. Look at that. A prophet's pattern. Hunter. November 14th, 1907. And mine's November 7th, 1980. And then look, Hunter. Huh. I don't know the dates on these. There's no dates. I'll have to look at the dates on that. And that. Let's see. My brother's. Oh, wow. Wow. Look at this. My brother's birthday, June 15th, with his month and year. June 15th, 1977. See? Oh, Kearns. Look at that. Kearns, Utah. Just kitty corner from that. He's identifying the correct people. That's what he's doing here. He's identifying the correct family. Look, my mom's birthday. I have to come back because this is too long. And my dad's gonna be mad because I'm gonna be late. Don't want him mad again. But man, this is amazing. Think of that. What are the chances? I just crossed the street. I already knew about, I searched a little bit of this. Kitty corner from the Kearns and my brother is another 780 with another prophetic pattern across from Hinckley. And there's that area right there that I hadn't searched until today.